Coming up on 5 Minute News. 1 million people flee Sudan as country spirals out of control. Former US counterintelligence official pleads guilty to Russian conspiracy charge. And climate change pushes Pacific Northwest heat to break even more records. It's Wednesday, August 16. I'm Anthony Davis. More than 1 million people have fled Sudan to neighboring states, and people inside the country are running out of food and dying due to lack of health care after 4 months of war, the United Nations has warned. Fighting between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has devastated the capital Khartoum and sparked ethnically driven attacks in Darfur, threatening to plunge Sudan into a protracted civil war and destabilize the region. Time is running out for farmers to plant the crops that will feed them and their neighbors. Medical supplies are scarce. The situation is spiraling out of control, UN agencies said in a joint statement. The war has caused 1,017,449 people to cross from Sudan into neighboring countries, many already struggling with the impact of conflict or economic crises, while those displaced within Sudan are estimated to number 3,433,025, according to the latest weekly figures published by the IOM. Fighting erupted on April 15 over tensions linked to a planned transition to civilian rule, exposing civilians in the capital and beyond to daily battles and attacks. The millions who remain in Khartoum and cities in the Darfur and Kordofan regions have faced rampant looting and long power communications and water cuts. Efforts led by Saudi Arabia and the United States to negotiate a ceasefire in the current conflict have stalled, and humanitarian agencies have struggled to provide relief because of insecurity, looting, and bureaucratic hurdles. A former high-ranking FBI counterintelligence official pleaded guilty yesterday to conspiring to violate sanctions on Russia by going to work after he retired for an oligarch he once investigated. Appearing before a federal judge in New York City, 55-year-old Charles McGonigal said he was deeply remorseful for work he did in 2021 for the billionaire industrialist Oleg Deripaska. McGonigal told the judge he accepted over $17,000 to help Deripaska collect derogatory information about another Russian oligarch who was a business competitor. Deripaska has been under U.S. sanctions since 2018 for reasons related to Russia's occupation of Crimea. McGonigal was also trying to help Deripaska get off the sanctions list, Assistant U.S. Attorney Rebecca Dell said, and was in negotiations along with co-conspirators to receive a fee of $650,000 to $3 million to hunt for electronic files, revealing hidden assets of $500 million belonging to the oligarch's business rival. McGonigal pleaded guilty to a single count of conspiring to launder money and violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. He could face up to 5 years in prison. Judge Jennifer H. Reardon scheduled his sentencing for December 14. McGonigal, who lives in New York, is separately charged in federal court in Washington, D.C., with concealing at least $225,000 in cash from a former Albanian intelligence official while working for the FBI. Numerous heat-related warnings and advisories are being issued for a dangerous heat wave blanketing the Pacific Northwest to the northern Rocky Mountains this week. High and low temperatures could tie or break records. The National Weather Service urged people in parts of Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Montana, and Northern California to prepare for dangerous triple-digit temperatures this week, with little reprieve due to record warm overnight temperatures until Thursday. The NWS issued a heat advisory for parts of Idaho for the next 2 days, with temperatures topping 100 degrees and not falling below 75 at night. The higher temperatures also bring fear for wildfires. Parts of Montana are also projecting triple-digit temperatures, high winds, and low humidity, which is why the NWS issued fire weather watch warnings. These factors create conditions prime for wildfires, which could be difficult to contain. Extreme heat was the leading weather-related killer in the United States last year, killing 148 people, including 33 children who died in hot cars. Heat-related incidents can come on quickly and can affect everyone. Young children, the elderly, and individuals with underlying medical conditions are particularly at risk and should take greater precautions during extreme heat events. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reported that last month was the Earth's hottest July in 174 years, and that the global sea surface hit a record high for the fourth consecutive month. The National Centers for Environmental Information says it is virtually certain that 2023 will be one of the top 5 warmest years on record, and there's a 50% chance it will be the warmest ever recorded. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.